For Tupac to have been born into one of the most advantageous positions for a revolutionary and to be reintroduced to the world, ready to fight that fight, but also being introduced to the violence and the crack era. And it was Black Americans to this day, America to this day is still reeling from the crack era. The police system is still reeling from the crack era. You know what I mean? Mass incarceration is still from the crack era. So his story and how he was affected in his eventual death at the young age of 25. At 25 years old, imagine the type of creative work he could have made at 33. Imagine Tupac's magnum opus just never happened. It never happened. He never had a chance to get his magnum opus. At the age of 25, dying at the age of 25, right as your brain finally starts to settle into making good decisions, right? To be attacked by people the way he was, to have stood up. And this is another thing about Tupac. And the fact that he went to jail, what he went to jail for shooting a police officer. And why did he shoot this police officer? Because this police officer was harassing a young Black boy. Like how many stories have you heard about a Black man shooting a police officer that was harassing another Black man? I've never heard this. It's only Tupac. This was him embodying the Black Panthers' ideologies of self-determination, of protecting our own communities to the max. And I myself am so personally disturbed and disappointed that Tupac could not enter a world where he could have the massive impact that he wanted to have. Did he have a massive impact? Sure. But Tupac was a revolutionary. Tupac wanted to change the system to make it better for everybody, especially for poor people, right? Tupac in his interviews talks about classism so much. It's funny, it's even an interview, like he's talking specifically about, why do you have to have this huge mansion? Why do you need a huge mansion? With all these rooms, what you need 12 rooms for? What you need 6 bathrooms for? And there's homeless people outside right now. You telling me you got a house and you got 12, 15 rooms and there's people outside with no house at all and you cool with that and you're okay with that? Like, he was really attacking the greed of the system. And you can look at Tupac as this big, huge superstar all you want to. The reality of the matter is when he died, he barely had $200,000 in his bank account. So Tupac was not, he had a lot of contracts. So Tupac was not this ridiculously rich, greedy figure of an entertainer. Tupac was a realist. Tupac was against classism. Tupac wanted to destroy the classist system. And Tupac wanted opportunities for everybody. And furthermore, I think this is one of the most powerful things Tupac ever said when it comes to police brutality. When they come into our communities and like they're scared because somebody's going to shoot them. Tupac is just trying to explain to these people like, okay, you're scared of them, but we are scared too. Do you think because we're in the hood that we're just killers? Like, no, the killer lived next door. We just regular people. We live next door to the killer. You just coming in here to try to police and you attacking everybody else and not even doing shit. Like, so for the police to come into our communities with that type of fear, as if they're the ones that should have the fear. We live next door to the guy. You're just answering a call. You're just answering a fucking call. Coming to a community that you don't even live in, you don't understand, trying to police them, don't even understand these people, what they go through, how many police officers in the 80s knew that COINTELPRO was happening? Who knew that? Was this common knowledge? No. The police officers, just as much as almost any member of the state, was being manipulated to carry out the dirty work of the people up top. Creating more division, carrying out the dirty work. Yeah, we're going to literally drop these drugs in their communities. We're going to use the money from that to help fund the war in Nicaragua. We're going to do that, right? And then once they start using the drugs and selling the drugs in this impoverished community where we've worked so long to make sure they don't have opportunities and they find a way to make some money and they start doing this shit, we're going to imprison them. And then we're going to also pass a bill to up the mandatory minimums. We drop this thing right in your community, set up all the conditions for crime to fester, and then we raise the penalty on crime. I'm not even sure how many privatized prisons were around in the late 80s, early 90s, but I'm pretty sure if there weren't a lot, they were starting to pop up. I have to double check that. Because the privatized prison complex is one of the biggest issues in American society, driving mass incarceration. Because these people have quotas. They need to fill these prisons up. Why do they need to fill the prisons up? Huh? You have to fill the prisons up? These companies that own these prisons are literally suing the state when the prisons are not filled. They had a contract to fill the prisons. How do you sign a contract to say, oh, we're definitely going to get this many prisoners? What if you have 400 prisoners short? What if you're 400 prisoners short? What if there's nobody else to arrest? Nobody committed the crime. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to go to poor communities. You're going to target these people. You're going to arrest them. You know they can't afford lawyers. You know they can't afford all the fees. You know they can't because you know they're poor. And so you do that. You send them to jail. They lose their job. They get out. They got fines to pay. They were already poor in the first place. Now they got to pay extra fines. This is derailing their lives. Just because they were poor, being targeted because they're poor. Not because they did anything bad, because they're easy targets. Like, it's so disgusting. You want to pick on, like, economically, right? Within this racial hierarchy, economically, within this system, you want to go pick on the smallest person economically. You want to go pick on them. You want to go pick on them. Instead, you take money out of their pockets that wasn't even full in the first place. It's like, again, like the mass incarceration, the economic policing is some of the most insidiously dark shit I've ever witnessed in my life. And something that somebody who doesn't do anything bad in the world is not thinking about is that the mass incarceration system was going to negatively affect their life. Who else do you see talking about the economic policing specifically? The attack on poor people. Who else is talking about the economic police and how it specifically affects people? If I had just not experienced this bullshit, I would have been like, who? Pharrell just came out and said some shit like, oh, do you want to get the job because you're black or because you're better? Like, nigga, being better don't matter in their racist ass systems. Being better was never the problem. It was never the problem. Never the problem. If you just look at the origins of American society, where did the economy come from? They tried to do the farming shit themselves. They couldn't do it. They were literally dying the fuck off. They tried it. They couldn't even survive. They couldn't fucking survive. That's why they needed us to do it. So it's never been about it was never about that. Literally quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. And so for somebody like Pharrell to understand, you gotta understand, CBS literally just fired CBS just fired a ridiculous amount of employees, and all of the employees they fired were black. All of them. Only black. They went downsized. Okay, we're downsizing. They literally only fired black people. Like, this is why stuff like DEI is important. Not because black people need to get something they don't deserve. It's because if you don't make a rule to prevent the racism, they're just going to keep being racist. I don't know what type of country y'all think we living in. I don't know. Because we were segregated 50 years ago. 50 years. 50 years. Martin Luther King just got popped 50 years ago. Like, this is like by the FBI of all people. We're talking about COINTELPRO going on in the 80s and the 90s. Like, what type of world do you think we live in? Do you think we're far removed? Like, some of these people are still in office now to this day. Mitch McConnell. Like, that's just off top of the head because he's old as he's dumb fucking up. I'm saying, like, yo, one of the biggest problems in our Congress is that these old men are holding on to power. And you think that, come on, bro. You think they changed? These old motherfuckers stuck in their ways in a system that always benefited them, in a system to where, like, they're literally blind to half of the issues to the rest of the world anyway. And I'm gonna just leave with this last thing, man. I ain't gonna cap. Because this is it. When you're privileged, equality feels like oppression at first. When everybody gets lined up equally now for the first time, it will make you uncomfortable if you just always naturally been lined up above. Well, not naturally, artificially constructed, designed that way, but you gotta understand that shit has never been fixed in America. Like, quite literally after slavery, they was like, well, y'all niggas doing way too good, too quick. Let me go implement a bunch of laws to stop y'all. Like, this has been the story of America. And not just America as the United States, but America as South America, Central America, all of the Americas. This is the story of the Americas. It's not just the United States. The United States gets the spotlight when it comes to these type of issues because of the segregation, because of the Jim Crow, right? Because of the eugenics laws, which literally taught Germany how to be racist to their Jewish people. There's no way you can go from a place of such a lack of humanity to just being good people in 50 years. No way. I'm sorry. It don't work like that.